What's up, guys? Coach Brian. This is Coach Jared. He's my pastor, and also a coach here at the gym. We're going to be talking about a few things here, but first, Jared, tell them about your background.
So I've been a pastor now for 3 years here in Mobile. Been in ministry since 2003, full time since 2010. I'm also in the Army National Guard, and got my L1 last year around September. Started coaching CrossFit. Been doing CrossFit for a couple years. Started out in Montgomery and then moved down here. Started at the box with Brian.
Coach Jared is super sweaty.
Yeah, so today I did the workout this morning. It was a lot of running involved, some kettlebell swings, some double unders. And yeah, you're gonna get sweaty, but today the weather out here it's real muggy, real thick.
Saucy.
I saw this great meme. It said that imagine taking all of your wet clothes, put them in the dryer, turning the dryer on, getting it as hot as it possibly can, but then you open up the door, your clothes are still soaking wet, the dryer's super hot, you jump inside with it. That's what it's like living in Mobile.
So, that's the truth. You can barely breathe sometimes. It's like oppressive. There's not even anything close to it. Maybe Kuwait, maybe the desert, but it's even less comfortable.
Yeah, down in the port there in Kuwait though.
Yeah, it's humid there too. All right, so today we're going to be going through a dragon slaying conversation on how to stop stinking thinking.
Take people, and I've told you this, and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of. That they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger.
Guys, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about dragon slaying video on how to stop stinking thinking. When this little series, the reason why these things are important is what we're trying to do is build up unconscious performance enhancement. What this does is helps you build tasks toward good habits to make your performance better. So these are underworking kind of thought-based practices that's going to help you be better in the gym, or be a better husband, or a better wife, or whatever you want to be better at. So what we're doing, the subject matter today is like stinking thinking. Like, what happens like when you get stuck in this kind of repetitive thought of like negative behavior? And it happens sometimes. You know, a lot of us, something bad happens, and then we kind of start to focus on it. And what that is we all have this innate response to our ancestry. And in our ancestry, our ancestry was always looking for the primordial snake. So we always had to find where the snake is or was in the forest. So our brains are always looking for that negative, or that snake. So now our brains are looking for that snake, but it's not there. So it's going to always go back to the negative. So you have to orientate your brain back to positive. So this is how this kind of works. The first step in this is to create a reverse gap. So if you're constantly thinking, I suck, I'm never going to be able to hit double unders, I'm never going to be able to get a 500-pound deadlift, you stop that thought and say, well, last week I did a 200-pound deadlift, and today I did a 225-pound deadlift. And you show gratitude toward that.
Celebrate every victory.
Celebrate every little win really counts. So that's how you do a reverse gap. So if you find yourself kind of stuck in that mode of being, stuck in like stinking thinking, do a reverse gap moment. What can I do? What can you focus on in your life to make things a little bit better? So this little reverse gap scenario works. So you're always a little bit better than where you were. Don't focus on where you're trying to get. Goal orientation is super good, but don't be hard on yourself about it. Be grateful toward the process that you've already been through.
Yeah,
pretty much. So Coach Jerry's going to get into what we're going to be trying to get into is how do you change your format of thinking, especially when you're stuck in this stinking thinking mode. And what we've kind of thought and what we've developed and found and done research in is practicing gratitude, and gratitude towards your day and positive things that have occurred. So how do you really start to focus on that? So what we're going to try to do is try to orientate you toward that.
Yeah, so when we talk about gratitude, the word we have for gratitude or thankfulness is from the Greek word charis, is the root word there, which means grace. So grace and gratitude like go together. So when you're reading in the scriptures, for example, it talks about grace using the word charis, and then the word gratitude is Eucharistian. You're probably familiar with the word Eucharistian from where we talk about the Lord's Supper. We call it the Eucharist. That it's the when the great Thanksgiving where the Lord gave thanks to God, broke bread, gave it to his disciples, and poured wine and gave it to his disciples. Said, "This is my blood shed for you, shed out for forgiveness of sins for many people." And so you have grace, Eucharist, Eucharistian. They show gratitude for what the grace given to them. When we talk about grace, we're talking about a gift given to someone. The person who gave the gift, they were not obligated to give the gift. The gift given, there were no conditions to that gift, no strings attached. So it's an unconditional gift given by an unobligated giver, and it's given to an undeserving person. That person did not work for that gift. They did not accomplish anything for that gift. And so the response to the unconditionality of the gift is this uncoerced feeling of thankfulness. And by uncoerced, I mean that since there's no conditions, no strings attached, then there's no expectations for this. And so the response is spontaneous thankfulness. And then since there was no obligation for the giver to give me the gift, then my response to that is going to be directed towards that particular giver. And then since there was no deservingness on my part, then the proportion of gratitude that I show towards this person is going to be in direct relation to the size of the gift. So let's say, for example, I'm going through Chick-fil-A, not Popeyes, and going to get me a chicken sandwich, and the person in front of me buys my chicken sandwich for me. I didn't do anything to earn that chicken sandwich, reserve that chicken sandwich, so my gratitude is going to be spontaneous, directed towards the person who bought it, and it's going to be in proportion to the size of the gift. So in this case, one chicken sandwich. But let's say I'm going to go buy chicken sandwiches for everybody in the box, and I get to the drive-through, and the person in front of me buys $400 worth of Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches. All of a sudden, the amount of gratitude increases with the size of the gift. And so you see this in Scripture where Paul will say in Romans chapter 1 that the gospel is God's power of salvation for everybody who believes. And then he continues that thought by saying, therefore, I am under obligation to tell everybody about it, because his response to the size of that gift given to that many people who are undeserving, God being unobligated to do it to undeserving people, and without any strings or conditions, nothing attached to it. Here's the gift for everybody. The natural response is, well, I have to tell everybody about this. And so if you take that same concept and work it into your CrossFit routine, every day is a gift given to me, whether I'm 22 years old, whether I'm 82 years old, every day is a gift. Then you start getting this idea of, well, I'm going to give everything I absolutely have towards that day. It's kind of the carpe diem kind of mentality, but it's where you come. It's where that idea comes from, and it's the gratitude, the grace given by the giver.
So, Coach Jerry gave a great background on like as far as like where our brains are kind of molded. You know, not everybody comes from a Christian background. Some people may come from Hindu, people may come from Buddhist, but we all have a hierarchical set of beliefs, and they all kind of come from the same set. So like being and showing gratitude toward the gifts that you're given is a super big thing. So like what you was talking about it and focusing on the good things versus the bad things is how you start. So this is what we want you to do. We want you to practice the 3 Ps, okay? So we're going to practice gratitude. We're going to set an alarm on our phone, all right? So we're going to, in the morning, we're going to set an alarm for first thing in the morning at 8 a.m. We're going to set, show gratitude, one at 12 p.m. and then one before bed, all right? The first one is going to be P. First P is going to be personal. So I want you to focus on a personal interaction between you and your family, or someone that that you maybe saw at the grocery store where someone smiled. Some type of nice little interaction, talking type situation. That type of showing gratitude toward this particular subject. The second one, for P for professional is at lunch. I want you to focus at work on something that you have done positive for yourself or your work or your coworkers. And then the last one for the day is the third P is to focus on physical. So you did some work today. Hopefully, you got your 10,000 steps in today. You ate your greens. You drank your water. You got your 8 hours of sleep. You did all these great things, and you're happy that you had the opportunity to do it. And then the last little part, I want you to take a little book, a little journal, keep it beside your bed, and I want you to write down what the things that you accomplished and journal it and keep track of it. So this is how you stop stinking thinking. There's a lot of science behind it, but this is the way it's created. And you have to create good, purposeful tasks so they become habits over the long term. And that's what we want to talk about today for the Dragon Slaying video today, and help you become have better unconscious performance and enhancement. But is there anything else?
Man, I'm just grateful to be able to be here in this video with you.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, man. Guess have a good day.